This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, a New York City doctor tests positive for Ebola, the first case in the nation's largest city.
I just saw her. I know her so much. And I know she is with God right now because she was an angel.
A father's grief over the senseless shooting of his young daughter as Anaheim police continue to search for a gunman.
Taylor Swift shuts down Hollywood Boulevard. We've talked to frenzied fans. Good evening. I'm Mark Brown, in for David Ona.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. We begin with breaking news. A doctor who recently returned to New York City from West Africa has tested positive for Ebola. This is the first confirmed case in New York City. ABC's Lana Zach has the breaking details.
Here in New York, the words no one wanted to hear.
Today, testing confirmed that a patient here in New York City had tested positive for Ebola.
Inside Bellevue Hospital, 33-year-old Dr. Craig Spencer, who had been in Guinea fighting Ebola for Doctors Without Borders. He returned to New York via Brussels last week. Early Thursday, his temperature hit 103 degrees, one of the first signs of Ebola. EMTs in protective gear rushed him to Bellevue Hospital, which had spent recent weeks holding drills, preparing for the possibility of Ebola striking America's largest city. Is this a worst-case scenario, Ebola in New York?
It's really not. New York City has one of the best health departments in the country, so they're better prepared than I would think just about any place in the U.S.
Though many in the city are on edge, the governor wants to reassure the public.
That it's here in New York, it's more frightening. New York is a dense place, a lot of people on top of each other. But the more facts you know, the less frightening the situation is.
A team of disease detectives is now checking out Spencer's every move. At least one of his contacts, his fiancée, is now in quarantine. Lana Zach, ABC News, New York.
In Anaheim, a community meeting is underway following the shooting death of a 9-year-old girl. The young victim was shot last night while playing in her front yard in the 2300th block of Greenacre Avenue. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter is live in Anaheim, where police are meeting with neighborhood residents tonight. Leanne?
Mark, it was a packed house tonight here at the Brookhurst Community Center. More than 300 people turned out to talk about last night's tragedy. Take a look. This was the little girl at the heart of it. 9-year-old Jimena Mesa was gunned down as she was playing with her 2 younger sisters and other children outside their Anaheim apartment. Tonight, Anaheim police met with residents to update them on the investigation and ask for their help. Now, the shooting is believed to be gang-related. The 9-year-old, an innocent victim. Detectives now looking for any information they can get to track down the gunman.
A white car with males approached the area. There were a group of males also in the area of 2300 West Greenacre. One male exited the white car and fired several rounds in the direction of the group of these males.
She was amazing. It's only I can tell. She was amazing. I just saw her. I know her so much. And I know she is with God right now because she was an angel.
Devastated family. Now, police are promising stepped-up patrols in the park and throughout the neighborhood following that deadly gunfire. Some residents tonight calling for cameras in the busy park. Now, at the meeting tonight, there were also grief counselors on hand as well as crime prevention officers. The department urging residents to come forward with any information they may have now. Now, the reward in this case is now up to more than $57,000 back live. Authorities hoping that it's that money that will be able to help them get the clues they need in this case. Again, the police department urging everyone to come forward. They say you can remain anonymous. Now, this is the number you need to know in case you have any information. It is the OC Crime Stoppers. It's 1-855-TIP-OCCS. Again, you can remain anonymous, simply looking for any information they can get to track down that gunman. Live in Anaheim, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Leanne, thank you. We have an update to a story we brought you last night. A mother asking for answers after her little boy was run over by an ice cream truck in South Los Angeles. 7-year-old Jamarian Thomas was hit about 7 o'clock last night in the 200th block of East 97th Street. Police say the boy appeared to have been holding the side of the truck as it was moving, but the boy's mother says he was walking his bike across the street when he was hit. Jamarian's mother says she ran out to help her son, but it was too late.
His lungs was crushed. My baby was already gone.
Some of the people in the neighborhood actually attacked the driver after the crash. Ice cream truck driver was questioned but was not arrested.
An arrest made in a hit and run that killed an 11-year-old boy in Upland. The child, Isaiah Shelton Devine, was struck this morning as he walked to Cabrillo Elementary School. A white Jeep Cherokee fled the scene. Upland police arrested a suspect around 1:30 this afternoon after a Victorville man saw a report on the incident and recognized the Jeep as the vehicle he rented for his son who lives near the scene.
Confirmed that his son had actually lent the car to a friend. We were able to respond, locate the vehicle, and locate that friend and take him into custody. He will be interviewed regarding the incident at this point, but we believe we have the right guy.
And had a strong faith in the Lord. That little boy had more faith in his 11 years than most adults that I know.
The name of the suspect has not been released.
A father and his son have been killed in their home in Hammett, and a family member living there has been arrested. Heartbroken family members watched as the bodies were removed by the coroner at the scene of last night's double murder. The victims were 44-year-old Dion Boyd and his son, 12-year-old Dion Boyd Jr. Late this morning, about 15 miles from the scene, Hammett police arrested 23-year-old Qualik Walton. Police say they don't know a motive for the shooting. Officials at Valencia High School say action has been taken now against 7 students after an online video surfaced showing a brutal beating. This comes after thousands of people signed an online petition demanding punishment. The video shows a group of high school aged boys attacking another high school student. The victim punched repeatedly, then thrown to the ground before he eventually gets away. Nearly 2,400 people signed a petition on the change.org website addressed to the Valencia High School baseball team, demanding the removal of those seen in the video from the team. The school will not say what kind of action they have taken.
We're learning more information about the attacker who killed a Canadian soldier. Authorities released new video showing Michael Zahef Bibu running with the weapon heading to Canada's parliament. Police say the 32-year-old may have lashed out in frustration over delays in obtaining a passport. They say he had drug problems and in recent weeks had been living at a homeless shelter and talked about wanting to go to Libya or Syria. Authorities continue to investigate. Meantime, Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers received a standing ovation in Parliament for stopping Zahef Bibu by shooting him dead inside the building.
Groundwater levels in the San Gabriel Valley are plunging because of the drought, and they are likely to get even worse. The Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District has now declared a water supply emergency. The district, which serves nearly 1 million people in 18 San Gabriel Valley cities, says the record low water levels in the basin could drop another 20 feet or more if there's another dry winter.
This is the most extreme drought in the state's recorded history. The board's action to adopt the emergency water supply resolution is a proactive step to make sure everyone in the San Gabriel Valley is taking this situation as serious as possible.
District officials say it'll take 3 feet of rainfall to restore the water basin to pre-drought levels. So far, predictions are bleak for a wet winter.
And another dry day here in Southern California and quite warm. Let's go over to Jonathan Novak for our first look at the forecast. Hi, Jonathan.
Yeah, calling dry and hot today. Temperatures way above average. If you're outside today, you felt it in the afternoon. Temperatures were in the 90s in some spots. There is rain to the north. We were just saying how badly we need it. Well, it's way to the north, up around Redding at this point and up in the Pacific Northwest, and it's hanging out. This is actually a front we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail later on in the full forecast, but today it was hot. Temperatures are 85 in downtown LA. Normally we're at 78, and that was actually kind of on the coolest side, relatively speaking, where I saw 10, 12 degrees above average temperatures today. 71 is right now your temperature in downtown Los Angeles. 74 is your current temperature in Van Nuys, and it's a nice mild evening as a result. A lot of 70s on the board. 76 Burbank, 72 Palmdale. We're going to look at this front and show you how it changes the forecast for the weekend. But for tomorrow, another day of repeat heat, 82 by noontime, with temperatures in the 70s in the morning from 9 a.m. on. So we'll look at that front, guys. It could mean a big cool down coming up for the weekend. I'll tell you about it in a few minutes.
Oh, we'd like that, Jonathan. Thank you. Taylor Swift took over Hollywood Boulevard today. The Grammy winner shut down the street to perform a concert for Jimmy Kimmel Live. Fans started lining up as early as they could this morning to get a spot close to the stage. Many of them even ditching work and school to see the show.
I skipped school. I emailed all my professors. I was all like, "Oh, I'm not going to class today because I'm sick." So.
You're not worried about getting in trouble?
No. It's Taylor Swift. I have 2 jobs and I missed both of them to be here.
You're not afraid of getting in trouble?
No, I don't care.
Viewers will be able to see part of the concert tonight on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Up next here at 8, wild video from New York City.
A man with a hatchet goes on the attack against police officers, and it is all caught on camera.
Plus, here at home, a face-off between a CHP officer and a swarm of motorcycle riders. See what happened next.
And a drug raid in a desert community uncovers weapons, possible bomb-making materials, and what may be a homemade cannon.
New at 8 o'clock, the NYPD has shot and killed a man they say attacked officers with a hatchet. It's on tape here. Zale H. Thompson charging at 4 officers moments before the attack. One officer was hit in the head and is in critical condition. A second officer was hit in the arm but is expected to be okay. Officials say Thompson had a criminal record in California and was discharged from the Navy for misconduct. Investigators are looking into his online postings and believe he subscribes to an anti-white, anti-government ideology.
More wild video, this time right here in California. What appears to be a face-off between a CHP officer and a swarm of bikers who suddenly surround him. Here's ABC's Brandy Hitt.
Watch as a swarm of motorcycle riders takes over this Northern California highway, speeding past a minivan, popping wheelies. Then look there on the right. A California Highway Patrol officer, his siren on, tries to pull over the leader. But the riders taunt him, waving at him to go away. That officer eventually forced to pull over and call for backup.
They can't expect that just because they're skilled at doing this type of riding that they're not going to have an incident.
It's not the first time we've seen this type of biker swarm. Just this week, 100 riders taking over the streets of Philadelphia. And in New York last year, 9 bikers charged after chasing down an SUV and beating the driver in front of his family.
The Highway Patrol tells us if you find yourself surrounded and feel unsafe, don't engage. Instead, stay at a safe speed or pull over. And if you feel really threatened, you can always call 911.
Tonight, California police combing through this video for clues, trying to identify these reckless riders who could now face criminal charges. Brandy Hitt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Some wild weather on both ends of the country today. Take a look at the video showing a strong storm blowing through the town of Longview in Washington State. The National Weather Service says a tornado hit the town, tore down power lines and damaged property. Police are asking people to avoid that section of the city. No one's been reported injured. And a nor'easter knocked out power and closed schools in eastern Massachusetts. As much as 5 inches of rain fell. It brought down trees and power lines there. As of this morning, 2,800 people were without power in Massachusetts. Several schools were closed for the day because of the flooded streets. Community leaders on the North Shore were also concerned about the possibility of beach erosion.
And you said Northern California is getting a little bit of rain right now.
Yeah, actually, kind of a holding pattern in a way in the Northeast and in the Pacific Northwest. There's a front hanging out waiting to make its move here to our area, and it's bringing rain to the Pacific Northwest, places like Washington State, Oregon, and northern portions of California, and then you have the nor'easter in New England bringing plenty of rain. But things are changing in about 24, 36 hours from now. But in the meantime, I've got some cool video for you if you did not see it. The partial eclipse today, the partial solar eclipse, you had to use special glasses or lenses to actually safely see it. The moon began to block the sun. It was at 2:07 this afternoon, and the eclipse ended around 4:39. Right around there. Right around 4:39. Some thought the lenses had dust spots on them, but actually, those were sunspots. You see, right there, right there. Beautiful shot right there. If you hopefully had some time to head outside today and check that out. The marine layer here locally, we had clear skies this afternoon for that because cloud cover has been very minimal. The latest imagery showing just a few clouds outside tonight. Otherwise, it's really going to be a sunny day tomorrow. And then the clouds move in later on, Friday night into Saturday, when things really change. Highs today, 88 Burbank, 83 Long Beach, really warm. Riverside, about 13 degrees above average. 93 was your high. Lower 90s in Ojai and Ontario. Burbank right now is at 76. It's a warm evening. 77 in Ontario at the moment. 57 in Wrightwood. 82 still in Palm Springs. Good evening to you. And at the coast, we're at 69 in Santa Monica. And good evening, Long Beach, 72 right now. So it's a warm night. Tomorrow's going to be kind of a repeat of today. This is the front that's going to make its move right now, bringing tons of rain up to the Pacific Northwest. This is a front that it's kind of stalled at the moment, but it's going to move south and it's going to bring us cooler weather. No rain, though. I'm going to show you the future rainfall. You'll see it just barely will wash out to the north and west of us. This is Friday afternoon. High pressure still in control of our weather. Late Friday into Saturday, the clouds roll in, but the rain is going to stay just offshore and to the north of our area, so we have no rain in the forecast, but we do have plenty of clouds, and it looks like our model here is showing even a little bit of snow potential up there to the higher peaks up in the high Sierra. So that would be Sunday that the clouds and the rain up to the north of us would be. But again, overall, we're keeping it dry. Tomorrow's going to be another hot day. 83 in Los Angeles, 90 in the IE, 85 Anaheim and Irvine, and 75 from Oceanside to Dana Point. So we got one more day. Hot weather, and then a big cool down for the weekend. Here's your 7-day forecast showing that. For LA Metro and Orange County, powered up by AccuWeather, warm, hot, sunny tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday, cloudy, and then a huge drop to 72 by Sunday, and a slow warm-up from there. Next week, we'll be back in the 80s by next Wednesday. So a little bit of a roller coaster, if you will, for the temperatures. Valley's IE around 90 once again tomorrow, up to about 92, 93 in some spots, and 79 on Saturday. That's a big drop for 24 hours, and then again some clouds, especially on Sunday, really thickening up. 73 for a high on Sunday. The mountains, watch out. The breezes are going to be kicking up. The winds on Saturday and Sunday will be an issue. 56 on Sunday for a high temperature with lows in the lower 30s, upper 20s. And the high desert, you're at 70 degrees on Sunday after another warm one tomorrow. 84 on Friday, but 77 to about 80 degrees next week once we hit Monday. We'll have more weather coming up in a few minutes. Back to you guys with this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jonathan. A house raided as part of a drug investigation. Narcotics, along with a cache of weapons and possible bomb-making materials seized, including what may be a cannon. A suspect is now in custody. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth spoke to the people in the tiny desert community where the raid took place.
Narcotic investigators say when they raided this Llano home early this morning, they found a large amount of narcotics, multiple rifles, handguns, and evidence to suggest that the resident was manufacturing explosives. They also found on the property a pipe sticking out of a mountain of dirt. Investigators from the LA County Sheriff's Department sending out a tweet with a picture of the pipe saying, "Activation Llano area, man firing homemade cannon." The tweet was followed by a series of question marks. This man who lives nearby says he has heard explosions and gunfire at the property repeatedly. He did not want to be identified.
Would it just be like, boom?
It would be one explosion, and then sometimes it would be multiple rounds, like I said, a semi-automatic or automatic.
The man says the explosions would start around 10:30 at night.
At least one time every night.
One time every night?
Yes.
You would hear what sounds like either cannon fire or some sort of mortar round that goes off?
Yes.
So every night for how long?
For maybe a month, 2 months. Not too sure. We were about to call the cops, but we just left it alone. If it was going to happen again during the night because it wakes us up, then we were going to call the cops.
He says the loud noises have rattled his family and scared his dogs. Just this morning, he and other residents again heard the loud booms, but this time it was from the LA County Sheriff's Department.
We brought our special weapons team, and during the service of the search warrant, sometimes we deploy tactical noises, if you will.
Is that a cannon back there?
I don't know if it is or not. You can see what I can see, and we haven't confirmed that it is or it isn't.
Leo Starworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Singer Chris Brown's back before a judge today, his ruling straight ahead.
Plus, big gift for a couple who's been walking their kids to school for 3 years because they don't own a car.
And a full house at a hearing to decide the future of the Greek theater. Find out how the vote went. Tonight, a touching story out of Moreno Valley. Several local businesses came together to help a deserving family. Today, a brand new car was presented to Michelle and Rochard Fairman. The couple's old car broke down 3 years ago, and without enough money to repair it, the couple have had to do without. Michelle, who is deaf and blind, walks their 3 kids 20 minutes to school every day. Rochard drives a bike to a carpool site to get do his job in Cabazon. The Fairmans say they are overwhelmed by the generosity of others, and they are very thankful.
We were asking and praying a long time for a car, and I guess he was just waiting for the perfect time to give us one. And this is it. I mean, wow.
Wonderful. The Fairmans also received a free year of insurance, paid DMV fees, and a trunk full of groceries.
Well, this is a different sort of a car story. This one's a super strong, super light, super expensive sports car, and it's coming to America. It's called the Pagani Huayra. It's an Italian sports car that lets you feel and hear everything it's doing. You hear the engine, you hear the transmission ticking through the gears. One thing, though, the car can be a little scary. You really have to press down hard on the brakes to slow it down. And the price tag is really scary. It's $2 million.
Oh, my goodness.
$2 million.
That's a little bit too pricey, I think.
Just a bit.
Well, we are updating the evening's top stories next here at 8:30.
Including what we're learning tonight about the gunman in the Ottawa Parliament shooting. How many times did he travel to the United States?
And a fraud scandal at Chapel Hill, how former athletes at one university say they got their degrees.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, a community meeting tonight after a 9-year-old girl is shot to death in Anaheim. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm Mark Brown in for David Ono. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Police say the little girl was shot while playing with her sisters and a few other children in front of an apartment complex in the 2300th block of Greenacre Avenue yesterday. Police say the neighborhood is frequented by gang members and that they don't believe the girl was the intended target. It's not clear if the shooting happened by someone on foot or if they were in a vehicle. Officials are now offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest.
A doctor who recently returned to New York City from West Africa has tested positive for Ebola. This is the 4th confirmed case in the U.S. Dr. Craig Spencer had a fever and gastrointestinal symptoms and was taken to a Manhattan hospital earlier today. Health officials say Spencer's fiancée is under quarantine right now and is currently not showing any symptoms. Mayor Bill de Blasio says all protocols were followed properly.
Another big story tonight. We'll tell you what we're learning about the gunman in yesterday's Canadian Parliament shooting. How many times did he travel to the United States? ABC's Brian Ross takes a closer look.
15 years ago, Michael Bibeau was a chubby student at a private Catholic high school. Yesterday, he was shot dead, carrying out a one-man suicide mission. This picture, which police say is authentic but from an unknown source, shows he was armed only with a small-caliber Winchester hunting rifle. As he stormed Parliament, apparently upset because he had not received a passport to head to Syria.
I think the passport figured prominently in his motives.
Bibeau's road to jihad apparently began after he left the Catholic high school outside Montreal in 1999. Over the next 10 years, he was little more than one of life's losers, a petty criminal and drug user, often homeless. His conversion to Islam led him to this mosque outside Vancouver 3 years ago, where he was remembered today as troubled.
He was the kind of person that people around him wouldn't feel too comfortable hanging around.
Even without a passport, Bibeau was able to cross the border into the U.S. at least 4 times, most recently last year, at a time authorities say he had already become radicalized. Bibeau's parents said they had not seen their son for 5 years until his mother had lunch with him last week. In a statement they said they are crying, not for their son, but for the soldier their son killed. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
We're learning more about the victim found shot to death near an off-ramp of the 210 freeway in Glendora early this morning. The coroner says the victim was a Hispanic male in his 20s. An autopsy could be done as early as this weekend. The man was discovered by a newspaper delivery person. Police say the victim had been shot repeatedly in the chest and then left for dead. Right now, police do not have any suspects.
R&B star Chris Brown is nearing the end of his probation, but still has a lot of community service to complete. Today, a judge ordered Brown to perform at least 4 days of community service per week so he can complete his requirement by the time his probation is set to expire in January. Chris Brown has been on probation since 2009 when he pleaded guilty to assaulting his then-girlfriend, pop singer Rihanna. Another progress hearing is set for January 15th. A new report says abusive dating behavior among teens is, as researchers put it, pervasive. The study was conducted by the University of Chicago. It says a majority of boys and girls describe themselves both as victims and perpetrators of abuse. The study looked at nearly 700 young people ages 12 to 18. Nearly 20% said they were victims of physical or sexual abuse. 60% say they were victims of psychological abuse. That includes name-calling, teasing, and false accusations.
Fake classes and inflated grades. A scandal at the University of North Carolina is growing tonight. For nearly 2 decades, students, including many athletes, received high grades for classes they never took and work they never did. Now the question is, what, if anything, will the NCAA do next? ABC's Susan Solney has more.
It was just a scam, the whole thing. It was a joke.
Fake classes and automatic high grades. An athlete's track of sorts where hardly any academic work was required, and over nearly 2 decades, more than 3,100 students at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill coasted through college. These allegations of academic fraud at UNC Chapel Hill revealed Wednesday in a 136-page report after an 8-month investigation by a former federal prosecutor. The main finding: fake classes created by a university official were the primary way struggling athletes at the powerhouse university were kept from having eligibility problems. Deontay Williams, a former UNC defensive back, and others spoke out earlier this year.
If you had a reading level of 3rd grade and you took a lot of these classes and you passed and you graduated, couldn't be too hard, you know.
Williams said the university actually steered certain students towards the fake classes. Former basketball star Rashad McCants, an athlete turned activist, also shared explosive accusations that the university cared little about the students' futures.
It wasn't anything that anybody thought was wrong. We thought this was a part of the tradition.
At least 9 university employees have been fired or are under disciplinary review. UNC actually invited this investigation, hoping it would bring closure to some previous grading scandals. Instead, it uncovered much more. And now a separate criminal investigation is ongoing. UNC says it's cooperating with the local district attorney's office and the NCAA. Susan Solney, ABC News, Washington.
You might want to avoid parts of Sherman Oaks this weekend. City leaders and public works and transportation officials announced the Van Nuys Boulevard street lift. The project will include new street striping, curb painting, and sidewalk cleaning. The street resurfacing project will take place most of Saturday and Sunday on Van Nuys Boulevard from Ventura to Magnolia.
Our approach right now is to save streets while they are in somehow a fair condition. If we decided to wait, let's say 2 more years or 3 more years, this $600,000 project would become a $2.5 million project.
Drivers are reminded that all 101 freeway ramps for Van Nuys Boulevard will be closed during that time.
LA's famous Greek Theater is a step closer to having new management. That's something many neighbors in the Griffith Park concert venue have been fighting. They're worried new management will bring in more concerts with louder music. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory was at today's packed meeting for the LA Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners.
It's never going to be the same if you guys put Live Nation.
They came by the hundreds, and many wanted their say, supporters and opponents of a bid by Live Nation to take over operations at the Greek Theater.
Live Nation will invest in upgrades and renovations as requested by the city of the Greek Theater, which is so desperately needed.
The Greek is one of the more intimate venues in Southern California. Nestled in the hills of Griffith Park, it's hosted shows for decades. It also shares this area with surrounding homes.
Nederlander will only hold it at 75. Live Nation will probably have more and more and more. That's what they're saying.
I'm afraid they're going to change it and try and update it, and it's lovely the way it is.
Live Nation insists that's not the plan, but they're also quick to point out residents knew what they were getting into when they moved into this area.
People are resistant to change, especially older people, right? And that's understandable. I'm resistant to change, but without change, there's no progress, right?
And the company insists in the end their winning bid was simply a better deal for the city.
We offered more money, more shows, better vision for what the Greek can be as a flagship venue for the city and for the community. And it was a lot of information, but as they got into it, that's what showed the best proposal.
While the vote in favor of Live Nation is a big win, it's not the final say. The LA City Council will now vote on it. In Griffith Park, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Nederlander Concerts issued a statement today saying, quote, "We welcome the opportunity to work with the City Council Committee on Arts, Parks, Health, Aging, and the River and encourage them to consider the issues that have been raised and not addressed when the Live Nation proposal is before them. We are extremely grateful for all the community support we have received."
Director, writer, producer Mel Brooks has always had a larger-than-life persona. His creativity was honored today on the lot of 20th Century Fox Studios.
Brooks Boulevard. That's fabulous.
Today, Mel Brooks Boulevard was officially unveiled on the West Los Angeles Fox Studios lot. Also revealed this large-scale mural featuring the cast of Brooks' movie Young Frankenstein. The painting features a likeness of the monster and his creator, Dr. Frankenstein. The classic film was shot here 40 years ago.
Coming up, a baby boy abandoned at a post office.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, see who is coming forward in hopes of taking him home.
Plus, how did you find the right healthy cereal for your kids? We'll try to help narrow it down.
Sunny and hot today. Temperatures way above average, but we have a cold front. It's going to chill things down. I'll tell you about that coming up in the 7-day forecast.
The fate of a baby found abandoned at a Texas post office now rests in the hands of a judge. Both the biological mother and father of the 2-month-old made an appearance in court this morning. The child was abandoned yesterday by his mother. A relative who didn't want to be identified says the mom was trying to give the child up, but the boy's father, who is no longer romantically involved with the mother, says he was stunned when he found out.
I was under the impression that she was going to take the baby to either a hospital or a police station.
I don't know why she did it. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why she did it, because she didn't have to. She's got a good parent. I'm a good father.
A judge is expected to decide if the child should remain in foster care or be returned to a family member.
Could paper receipts be putting us at risk for cancer, heart disease, or obesity? A new study says yes, because of the chemical BPA found in those receipts. Researchers say touching cash register receipts can dramatically increase your body's absorption of the potentially dangerous chemical BPA, or bisphenol A, which is a hormone disruptor. BPA is found in products ranging from plastic water bottles, food can linings, to airline tickets and store and ATM receipts. And products such as hand sanitizer dramatically increase the rate of absorption. The Chemical Council today issued a statement saying BPA is safe.
Surprising news about C-sections in America. Nearly 1/3 of all babies born in the U.S. in 2011, that's 1.3 million infants, were delivered by cesarean section. Researchers analyzed data from more than 1,300 hospitals in 46 states. The overall C-section rate was about 33%, but among hospitals that rate changed between 19 and 48%. Scientists say the numbers point out the roles that hospital policies, practices, and culture may have influenced C-section rates.
Labels on cereal boxes may say they're a healthier choice, but dietitians say don't let that fool you. They are urging you to do a little homework before you buy. Health specialist Denise DeDore takes a closer look.
Whole grain, vitamins to support your immunity. Cereal labels claim to give you all kinds of good nutrition. But if you want to choose something healthy, dietitians say look for high in fiber but low in sugar.
A lot of those cereals are going to be more of your whole grains. Anything with oats in them is great. Shredded wheat. Anything with barley, bran, things that are naturally high in fiber because of the whole grain content of the food.
Jennifer Willoughby with the Cleveland Clinic says look for short ingredient lists with names you can pronounce. Whole grains like whole wheat, oatmeal, or whole wheat should be at the top of the list. Avoid products with corn syrup, brown sugar, dextrin, or glucose near the top of the list. Willoughby says high-fiber cereals will help your child feel fuller longer. If you're worried about taste, try dressing it up on your own.
Maybe throw some healthier dark chocolate in there. A little bit of berries go a long way to sweeten it up a bit, and that can be a good way to still get the healthy, high-fiber nutritional benefits from the cereal, but a little kid-friendly way that they'll like the flavor too.
When reading nutrition labels, aim for 5 grams of fiber or more. Look for under 3 grams of fat per serving and no more than 140 milligrams of sodium. Also, try not to exceed 8 grams of sugar.
Willoughby says a good way to wean your child off the sugary cereal is to do it gradually. She says it's fine to mix a healthy cereal with a sugary one and then decrease the sugary cereal over time. In the newsroom, Denise DeDore, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Is a cool down on the way? We're going to tell you in the full forecast straight ahead.
And Laker President Jeannie Buss comes to the defense of Kobe Bryant. Details coming up in sports.
And a #1 ranking for USC. Not the football team, but the marching band. That story when Eyewitness News returns. A federal investigation being launched into vandalism at our national parks. A graffiti artist painted creepy faces on rock formations in parks all across the West, including Yosemite and Death Valley here in California, possibly Joshua Tree as well. The images were apparently posted on social media by the New York-based artist, and then they were spotted by a California hiking blogger who alerted the Park Service. Vandalizing national parks is a federal offense. And out-of-state plastic companies are spending big money to repeal California's plastic bag ban. A number of companies have banded together to donate more than $1 million on a referendum campaign to overturn our new state law. Most of that money is coming from outside of California. Opponents of the bag ban must submit signatures by December to qualify for the November 2016 election.
Volunteers stuffed backpacks to give out to low-income students in Long Beach today. This is Make a Difference Day. Each year, a school is chosen in the school district to receive the backpacks. About 1,000 of them will be distributed Saturday to Lee Elementary School. Inside each backpack, 2 complete school uniforms and school supplies. They're paid for with donations.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our forecast.
Great weather
cool
today.
Down.
Big cool down. I mean, this was a big warm-up, relatively speaking, where we should be for this time of year. Some places were upwards of 13 degrees above average. I saw, like in Riverside. This weekend, we're dropping almost 20 degrees by Sunday. Yes, it's going to get cold. I'll give you details right now. Let's see what happened a little bit earlier today. Malibu. Thank you for this. Fantastic sunset. Wow, not a cloud out there, huh? I don't see anything. So, very nice afternoon today. And tomorrow will be just about the same. Now, there is rain up to the north of us. So let's check out that live Megadoppler 7000 HD. It's actually a front that's hanging out for about another day, day and a half before it makes its move down to Southern California. Will it bring rain for us? No, we're not looking at shower activity. We're going to be looking at a cool down from it, though. I'll show you that in just a second. 69 right now tonight, LAX. And we head over to Riverside, 67. You were at 93 today in Riverside. It was HOT for sure. 69 in Ojai. You were in the 90s today as well. And 72 in Palmdale, 57 Wrightwood right now, and 76 in Burbank. Good evening, Santa Clarita. It's 53 right now. Satellite imagery showing a big nor'easter up in the New England area that's brought 3 to 5 inches of rain. It is finally pulling out, and it looks like they're going to start drying out over the next day. For us, it's a front that's to the north. That's going to be our next weather maker. And it's placed, there we go, a moving front apparently westward. It's placed right about there up in the Pacific Northwest. Now, for us, high pressure has been our weather maker, keeping us very hot. And it's right here. Watch what happens on the future scan. Here's the front. Watch it. This high pressure is going to push to the east, and that's going to make room for this big trough of low pressure to move in. So late Friday, we'll start seeing things change. We'll see the clouds roll in. And for Saturday and Sunday, expect more cloud cover. Expect a big drop in temperatures, about 5 to 10 degrees between Friday and Saturday, and another 5 to 10 degree drop between Saturday and Sunday. So for tomorrow, another hot one. One more day of this. 83 in Los Angeles, 89 Pasadena, 90 in Santa Clarita and Ontario, and up in the IE there in Beaumont, San Bernardino, Riverside, about 91. 88 Temecula. So another hot day tomorrow, and then things really change in time, I guess, for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday here. 77 on Saturday, and then 72 on Sunday with morning lows in the 50s, and then a slow warm-up after that. Monday and Tuesday still below average or right about at average, and next Wednesday we're finally back above average, actually. Valleys, IE, you've got another day in the 90s, and then things really cool down, about a 10 to 12 degree drop from Friday to Saturday, and then another 7 degree drop from Saturday to Sunday, and then things warm up after that. Again, this weekend's going to be cloudy. It's also going to be breezy. The mountains are going to see winds kicking up Saturday, and maybe even on Sunday a little bit. 56 for a high on Sunday. Very cool. And then the high desert is also seeing those windy conditions on Saturday and Sunday, and even into Monday with temperatures dipping down to about 70 by the end of the weekend. And that's it for me. Dallas is going to have more on ABC7 at 11.
Okay. Jonathan, thank you. Laker fans, of course, are quick to defend Kobe Bryant when people criticize him, and today the president came out in support of Kobe. Talking about team president Jeannie Buss, not Mr. Obama. She traveled to ESPN headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut today to defend the Lakers superstar, not only on television but also on the radio. She is upset about a recent ESPN The Magazine article that claims the Mamba is the reason no top free agents want to sign with the Lakers.
Any free agent that would be afraid to play with Kobe Bryant is probably a loser, and I'm glad they wouldn't come to the team. I read the story. I don't agree with any of it. If there is somebody that's on our payroll who is saying things like that, I'll soon get to the bottom of it, and they won't be working with us anymore. That's unacceptable comment, especially when it's anonymous. I have no doubt that Kobe will, will make all those things, people will regret ever saying them.
Well, regarding one of her other employees, the Steve Nash era is over. The two-time league MVP has been ruled out for the whole season due to a recurring back problem. Nash is in the last year of a 3-year deal and will earn $9.7 million. He's been plagued with a number of injuries since arriving in LA. He was limited to just 50 games in his first year in purple and gold, only 15 last season. Nash called this latest setback disappointing as his top priority was to get back on the court. Steve Nash is 40 years old. During training camp, Nash said the upcoming season likely would be his last.
The USC marching band has been named the best in college football. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson has more on the extraordinary group.
For years, they've called themselves the greatest marching band in the history of the universe. And now, USA Today agrees, naming USC the #1 marching band in the country.
They work hard, but they have fun. And I think that's the key. Trivia to Troy!
Dr. Arthur C. Bartner has directed USC's band for the last 45 years. He's developed plenty of Hollywood connections along the way.
If you look at the body of work, I think we probably deserve this award.
As a USC alum, this is absolutely thrilling to be here. And USC is the only band with a platinum album. Mick Fleetwood asked the band to play on Fleetwood Mac's song Tusk. It's become USC's signature hit. Here the band practices with Radiohead. They join them on stage at the Grammys, join Outkast at the Grammys, Hugh Jackman at the Oscars, and play the Super Bowl. They've been led by everybody from President Ronald Reagan, Snoop Dogg, Alex Trebek, even Will Ferrell. They've traveled to Dancing with the Stars, Times Square, Abbey Road, the Eiffel Tower, and the original Colosseum in Rome. But it's the Coliseum in Exposition Park they call home.
We refer to this as the Trojan family, and without a doubt, the football program and the band are synonymous with each other, and there's a great connection between the two.
Band members practice 10 hours a week, not including games.
The thrill that we get from performing, that I get from performing, makes it worth it.
No doubt in my mind, this is one of the best things I've ever done.
At USC, Alex Michaels, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well-deserved honor. Well, more news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. A clerk fights back the search for a suspect or suspects who are terrorizing local business owners. A firebomb attack on a family of 6 is caught on tape. How they managed to escape. These stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Halloween is just around the corner, and if creepy, crawly, scary things are your cup of tea, try to visit the LA Zoo.
Ooh.
The zoo is gearing up for its annual Night of the Living Zoo event tomorrow night. It's a costume bash with lots of bugs, reptiles, and meat-eating creatures mixed in.
This is Miles. He's a woma, which is a type of python from Australia. And he's one of our education animals.
Miles is 4 feet long, will eventually grow to 7 feet long. Night of the Living Zoo is so scary that, unfortunately, it's for adults only.
Well, today, the helpful Honda team stopped by Mattel's Children's Hospital, UCLA, in Westwood to bring some Halloween cheer. The kids were all dressed up in Halloween costumes. They got to paint their pumpkins and play with different toys. Honda workers will be going to 18 different hospitals this month to help children decorate pumpkins. They will also visit pumpkin patches and donate pumpkins.
And finally, new hope for a California species on the verge of extinction. They're called Amargosa voles. The gerbil-like creatures live in the rare marshes of the Mojave Desert. Only a few hundred still exist because of a loss of habitat and our statewide drought that's making the situation even worse. But these little guys were just born as part of a breeding program they have going at UC Davis. So far, 4 healthy pups have been born. Didn't know they were pups, but that's what they call them. Researchers are hoping this is just the beginning. They want to release them into the wild next year. The Amargosa vole.
Of course, I can't see its tail, but the little face looks like that face from that movie Ratatouille.
Yep, there he is.
Oh, look at it. That's cute. Well, I'm glad they're being saved. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law & Order SVU is next here on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com.
And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app. See you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on LA56. Have a great night.
Good night.